and welcome to my YouTube channel Crackle on the Beat with myself, Vicky. I'm a radio presenter and music journalist that loves obsessing and addressing all things music. So if that's your kind of thing, then hit subscribe, like, share, all that jazz, and we'll get into it. So just a quick disclaimer before I fully get into it. Obviously there are a lot of people in the comments, people who watch this show that would love to hear the music that I am reviewing. It played in the background. Unfortunately, I can't get the rights to every single song and every single artist. Some artists I'm in touch with and I can play their music, others I'm not. I will always leave a link in the description of where you can listen to the music if I can't play it in my video. But I do really enjoy doing these. I really enjoy breaking them down, and I will continue to make it the best I can with or without the music in the video. So now let's get into it. So today I am going to be talking about the 28-year-old singer-songwriter from London, CHINCHILLA, with her latest album, Flytrap. So the album came out on the 7th of June 2024. It's not quite as recent as some of my previous reviews, but you know what? She is such a big upcoming artist at the moment, so relevant, and a lot of people are still stumbling across her music even today, so I couldn't not give this one a whirl. So I had heard a little bit about CHINCHILLA just through the grapevine, through social media, scrolling, saw a few things about her, but didn't really know much for a while. I just kind of heard the name until I started listening to Ren, and then I really started to delve into her music a little bit more. She has done a few songs with the artist Ren as well, such as How to Be Me and Chalk Outlines, which is very popular at the moment. So I think her real name is actually, Daisy Burtonshaw, but she goes by the very quirky, cool stage name CHINCHILLA. But yeah, she has such a solid and loyal fan base that is ever growing at the moment. And yeah, her name is just starting to pop up everywhere. She played at Reading Fest last year as well. Flytrap, I believe, is her second album. First one was called Awakening, which came out in 2020. So getting into sort of just breaking down the description of CHINCHILLA as an artist and what sort of energy she gives off at first glance. Best way to describe her really is boss bitch energy. She's got such an eclectic aesthetic and a very eccentric personality. She's incredibly stylish. She knows her image, quirky, sharp, crazy, a little bit unhinged, in the best way possible. Yeah, and she leans into a lot of sort of feminist points and traits throughout a lot of her songs. Best way to describe the Flytrap album is it's just full of feminine rage, and she's got a very sort of strong power ballad vocal as well. There's lots of hearty beats, little shrill screams every now and then, which really do give it a little bit of spice and a little bit of angst and extra character. Yeah, so as I was saying, she really does seem to touch on subjects of like surrounding oppression, frustration, inauthenticity, and how damaging it can be. She delivers this all in a very sort of, like I said, feminine, with a very sort of feminine rage approach. She's loud, hearty, ferocious, vengeful. Also talks about the struggle in the music industry as well, whether it's to do with labels and genres and things like that. She's very mysterious, but very direct as well with her approach, but very mysterious within her sort of her aesthetic as well. Yeah, she talks about heartbreak, disappointment, just generally. She's very theatrical. I think theatrical is a really good all-encompassing description of her delivery. So like the name of the album, Flytrap, you know, it really does seem to circle and highlight the idea of feeling trapped, you know, whether it's trapped in a, you know, in an industry that you're stuck in that you're not happy with, whether it's trapped in a relationship you're not happy with, or being just trapped inside your own head. And that seems to be quite a common theme that runs throughout the whole album, really. Yeah, I feel like the common theme, you know, that runs throughout the album is really pinpointing the result of hurt and pain, disappointment, bitterness, and just finding ways to try and bounce back from it as well. So I really would put Chinchilla down as like a pop artist, but she really seems to really give off this very punky energy as well, you know, anarchy, revenge, but it's also very, very catchy, quite vulnerable as well, quite a you know, a girl's girl album as well. So yeah, I wouldn't say it's pop punk, but there is a pop element to it and a very punky attitude as well. Yeah, Chinchilla really is one to watch at the moment. She really does know how to tap into sort of anxiety and sort of personify it through her music as well. And yeah, she also has this very country-esque way about her as well. You know, she's very sophisticated with the way she genre blends with her style. She doesn't really fit one category per se. You know, it's pop, it's punky, it's powerful, it's pumped up, and she's just got such a rock and roll attitude. You know, when you look at Chinchilla, although it's not necessarily rock music that she's giving us, you can see rock and roll in her and her style and her attitude and just everything that she stands for. She is rock and roll. 100%. You know, she's urban and loud and full of attitude and confidence, yet still very humble, raw, and does show some very, very vulnerable sides to herself as well, despite the front that she puts on. It's kind of like when rational logic and strength meet confidence, and then combined with frustration and anger and oppression. That's kind of what I take from Chinchilla, from like within her music. So I kind of was thinking about some scenarios that we could describe the music as, and what came to mind with me is that it's music that makes you, you know, want to stomp about in the biggest boots you own, makes you want to kick the door off its hinges in heels. Music that makes you want to shout from the rooftop in nothing but your bra and a sword in hand. That's the sort of energy it's giving. Yeah, so this is music, you know, that really does reveal stress, anger in all of its complexities, and it's really depicted in a very artistic and fiery and very, very creative approach. You know, she's very powerful, mysterious, and she has this queen-like energy. You know, she's, I'm not a princess, I'm a queen, you know. Yeah, I really would say that this album really is for, you know, any women who have felt, you know, held down, pushed out, you know, trapped, done rotten, and oppressed, really. On top of such a hearty vocal, you know, it's powerful, it's a very gymnastic vocal, you know, it's hearty and just full of timber. So now we're going to get into the songs. The album Flytrap does have 7 songs on there, well, 6, but there is also a little outro as well, which is just dialogue, really. So we're going to get into that. So first of all, there's Little Girl Gone. I really, really like this one. This one's actually taken off pretty well. Yeah, it was one of the first singles. You know, it's kind of, again, talks about pain and hurt, and sort of not just pain and hurt as a whole, but how to, you know, come back from that and grow out of it. You know, I think it really does point towards the idea of getting bigger, saying goodbye to the little girl that was once that was once there. I think this is very, very empowering. You know, she's obviously felt, you know, small in a lot of situations, and, you know, being in her mid to late 20s now, feeling like, you know, that she's growing into a woman. And I think it is a perfect song to put as the introduction as well. Secondly, we've got Caps Lock. This is one of my favourites. This one's incredibly catchy. I love the driving lyric, you know. What does she say? Now I only speak in caps lock. Broke the button on my laptop. Just love it. It's so simple and so effective, but it really does confirm and solidify the image that she gives off, you know, this loud, ferocious, feminine, full of feminine rage. You know, I speak in caps lock. Absolutely love it. You know, it is deep. It's got a deep and catchy beat, and it you know, it just personifies Chinchilla perfectly. You know, it's loud, ferocious, outspoken, confrontational, which, yeah, I just absolutely love it. And it's so catchy as well. It's so it's repetitive in some ways, but in the best way possible, because it really does stick with you. And it's just that one that, you know, when you hear it, you know exactly what track that one is. And then we've got Cut You Off. So this one is really about taking the power back. When you feel like you've given out, you know, you've been giving out too much. You know, people have been biting the hand that feeds them, should I say, and just coming to that realisation of I've given too much attention, I've given too much out, and snip snip. I mean, I think a lot of people could probably relate to this, you know, when you feel like you have let too many people off too many times, whether it's people, things, situations, and you realise it's no longer serving you, it's no longer good for you, and you're taking that power back by saying, you know, goodbye. And I think Cut You Off really does depict that quite well. I think with this one, you know, it's a very it's got quite a theatrical chorus. I think she would do brilliant at like like a West End show, as well as a pop star, because, yeah, her vocal is just so good, so powerful. I love it. And next up, we've got 1 to 5. I would say that throughout the album, this is probably the most, well, I say probably, it is the most sort of downbeat, most heartfelt, most vulnerable track of them all. You know, I think this one is very open and very upfront about the fact that, you know, she doesn't do well in one-sided relationships, and that she tends to be the giver. And yeah, I think this one is it sits right in the middle of the album, which I think is a perfect position for it, because, you know, we've got all of this you know, confrontation, and then just this one song in the middle that just really is a breather, and it really does makes her a little bit more human, a little bit more vulnerable, which we love in an artist. We love vulnerability with artists. Yes, give us the vulnerability, we need it. Then we've got Bounce Back, which again is positioned so perfectly. She's definitely thought about the order of the tracks, because Bounce Back coming on after 1 to 5 was just perfect, because it speaks for itself. You know, bouncing back, coming back from a really weak place. Kind of feels like, you know, especially after a slow and very like emotional, vulnerable track, it's like, you know what, I've had my cry, wiped my tears, I'm back. Yes, it's almost like she's telling a little story of like the ups and downs, the highs and the lows throughout this album. Then we have my absolute favourite. This was the first track of hers that I had heard of, MF Diamond. Oh, I love this one. This one, it's not just rage and it's not just vulnerability, but it is about understanding her self-worth, in my opinion, in from how I take it. you know, she's kind of like fed up with being ghosted, fed up with being hung on by a thread. She's got nothing left to give, and she's like, look, I am a diamond, and if you can't see that, then that's your problem. This one's a little bit unhinged as well. If you watch the video, you know, oh, it's brilliant. And then lastly, we have the Flytrap outro. This, I think, is really, really important. It's not a song, it's just a little bit of dialogue. I'm not quite sure who it is speaking in the outro, but it's very, very, very symbolic. I think the whole album itself is very, very symbolic of feeling trapped. The person talking the dialogue in the dialogue in the outro is unpacking the process of a fly trap and how they work, and how squeezing something and crushing something is not love, and it really is possession. And I really think this was a good way to close the album, because I think it kind of answers all the questions that we might have had listening to her music. You know, what is she getting at here? What is she trying to achieve? And I think that outro, although not a song, was very, very symbolic, very, very important for sort of summarising the album. I think concept-wise, she's got it down to a T. She's got a very, very clear concept with it. It's very theatrical, got fantastic style, fantastic strong vocal, quite clear influences. I think she said she's been very influenced by people like Stevie Nicks from Fleetwood Mac, Rihanna, Beyonce. Yeah, and it's very, very evident in her approach. So yeah, to summarise, we're coming to the end here. So to summarise Chinchilla and her album, Chinchilla as an artist in general, and Flytrap as an album, it gives off boss bitch energy. It's unhinged, but like I said before, in the best way possible, a little bit crazy. You know, it's understanding the reality and the importance of self-worth, and understanding how high value a woman she is. You know, is unapologetic, female boss energy, feminine rage, a girl's album, a woman's album, power vocal, just style and just excitement and electricity and eccentricity all throughout, from start to finish. So there we have it, Chinchilla, Flytrap, that's a wrap. What did you think of the album? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Were you somewhere in between? Let me know in the comments what you think of the album and what you want me to review next as well. Always love to hear your feedback. Obviously, was not able to play the music throughout this video because copyright, but I will drop a link in the description where you can go and catch the whole album and check it out for yourself, really. You know, it doesn't matter what I say, check it out. But yeah, until next time, peace.